r/DeadBedrooms. Redhead Guy 88 says, what's more frustrating than not having sex? When friends or family make a lewd joke about something you said as if you and your spouse are having sex. It's pretty hard to resist the urge to respond with no, that's not a thing anymore, when it's the truth. Rant over. Yerplup says, so true. It's even worse when my wife makes a lewd joke and I haven't even seen her naked in a year. Lonaline Jersey says, hard to be around other couples who act affectionate towards each other when you are dying inside. Mex Criminal 45 says, hear the wife giving sex advice to her friends. When the last time we frick was 2 years ago. Ohio 2DC says, this happened with my sister-in-law. She was staying with us off and on for a while due to her job relocation. She said something to the effect of marriage without kids in the house is the time for lots of sex. It took all my strength not to laugh hysterically. First of all, we don't have any kids. She has 5. Second of all, I could tell my wife was getting uncomfortable, so I immediately jumped on the grenade and said, ooh. We aren't horny teenagers anymore. There's no need for sex. It's gross. Later that night I brought it up hoping she would thank me for taking the pressure off, and she just got mad. We were a few days away from moving, so I ended the conversation matter-of-factly and emotionless with I'm not going to do this the rest of my life. We have the conversation every 3 to 6 months and I tell you I want to have sex more often. This is the last conversation. We are actually going to work on this when we move and start over, or we need to figure out alternative arrangements. She was furious. Things haven't gotten worse, but they haven't gotten a whole lot better either. I think we've had sex twice in 3 months. Which is actually a slight improvement. I'm ashamed to admit this, but I visited a massage parlor 1 time since then. She knows I get massages, but doesn't know about the extras at 1 time. Thing is, I have been struggling with depression and job changes. We've been sick the last 2 to 3 weeks. I'm trying my best to line up another employment contract while getting myself in a better headspace. So sex shouldn't be and isn't the first thing we should think about. But I know the root of our problems. The first half of our relationship, I had problems controlling my anger. She hated it and was embarrassed by it. I have put the effort into getting better and finding emotional balance. She recognizes it and loves that I put the effort in. For 2 years we got healthy, lost weight, and felt good about ourselves. She went on an Instagram binge and became an influencer in a niche community. It consumed all her time. It bothered me to the point I had to say something. She kept putting herself out there for compliments and talking about body positivity and acceptance, but would refuse and spurn every sexual advance and roll her eyes at every compliment I gave her. I was addicted to my phone for years. It was a work-related thing. She told me how it made her feel, and I addressed it. It didn't change her own behavior or reaction to me. I'm the one who is always putting in the personal work. I'm the broken one, the person who needs fixing. Even when she admits she has problems, she will do nothing about them. Everything is always the fault of PCOS. If only she can take the right supplement or vitamin, then everything will be okay. The one time she went to a therapist, it took 2 sessions for her and her therapist to determine everything is my fault. Listen, we have a good life generally. When I'm not lamenting and stewing over our dead bedroom, we have a good relationship. We genuinely love each other, but we cannot find mutually acceptable ways to express it. We have family on both sides that loves us and, for now at least, stable income and savings with a roof over our heads. I admit I'm part of the problem, perhaps even more than 50% of the problem. But I have been willing to work on it and put in that effort. She doesn't. And it results in me having to sound like a celibate monk when her sister brings up marital sex. The moral of the story is to discuss sexual expectations, likes and dislikes early enough in a relationship, so that you don't get too far down a road you don't want to turn back. OK Shoulder 9706 says, when my best female friend, who is single, biatch, that she hasn't had sex in 3 whole days, as if that's a milestone to someone who only gets it once a year if I'm lucky. No sympathy here. Lol. r/DeadBedrooms. JD 46149 says, I just texted my wife. We're gonna do what we did last night. Listening to Frank Ocean last night was so incredible. We connected. We loved each other. We might have saved our marriage. Cheddar Classic 06 says, awesome. Hope it continues to get better. Typical _ad 2054 says, so happy for you. Vice Principal Nero says, wonderful, I hope things continue to improve. r/DeadBedrooms. Nelly Scone says, feeling pathetic. Does it get easier? Less painful? Do you swallow what's left of pride and learn to accept that this is your reality? I'm so tired of asking my 29F partner 35 meters to sleep with me to be rejected. I asked if we could have sex and he agreed, but by 6 PM we still hadn't, and he wanted to put a 2.5. Our film on which I mentioned is long. He interrupted and said, yes, I know you want to have sex and have work tomorrow, so want an early night, but after this film. Why should I have to beg someone? Frick me, never mind someone who tells me they love me. Why it is so difficult, or is he so unwilling? I'm sure. Does he no longer find me attractive? Chemical _patience _26 says, it gets easier for sure the closer you get to accepting what isn't. Hang in there. Steven 1,966,247 says, it will be fine sometimes, and you'll live with it, and other times you will feel the effects more. We are now in the 13th year of RDBM 56HL/F55 lines. Most of the time I'm resigned to it being what it is and not changing. Then there are times I miss it so much, and I'm so sick of living like this, and even though I no longer initiate I still feel the pain of all that rejection. The man in the shack says, those are all good questions. And you certainly deserve the answers. Warpdoido097 says, it will ebb and flow. r/DeadBedrooms. Day 0C33 says, do you worry? Do you worry if you left your DB relationship, you might end up in another DB situation? That you won't find a normal relationship, so might as well stay? Snoopy6809 says, if my HL spouse leaves, I'm going to limit myself to short NRE fueled FWB situations. So, no. Jack Hoffman says, I worry less about ending up in another DB relationship and more about just ending up alone. Even that doesn't really worry me because I don't mind being alone. Remote at 9211 says, that went through my head a lot before I left my DB situation quite recently. I'm not dating again yet, but when I do I'm worried about overthinking and overanalyzing everything when it comes to sex in a new relationship. I don't think I could go through what I went through again, and it's hard to get an understanding of how common it is, especially as most relationships start very well sex-wise and might only start to diminish once you're emotionally involved. In the end my decision was to leave, and I think it was the right thing to do despite my fears about the future. Oidaglas says, lol no. I never had trouble getting action when I was single. Irandak says, no, not at all. Listinson 9 says, no. First, I'm honestly unlikely to live with another person again. People change too much when they're comfortable, and I really enjoy living alone. Second, if my relationship ends I'm going to have extremely high standards in choosing another sexual partner. Person doesn't offer to go down on me or try something to pleasure me during the first encounter. There won't be a second. Boudica the Queen says. HMM. Sometimes, but I don't regret ending my DB marriage. I worry that I'll end up with a narcissist who'll abuse me again. The DB was a secondary issue. But I feel like I know the red flags, and if a dead bedroom or abusive situation arises, I'll nip it in the bud. The first guy I dated, after leaving my DB, well, it lasted about 6 months. Was kind of a weird situation. We didn't have a dead bedroom, but due to medical issues he had no sensation in his penis, so he went on and on for way too long. I just got no enjoyment out of it. I was actually glad when it all ended. I guess in my next relationship I'll be looking for true tender erotic intimacy, and if he starts being a cold fish like my ex-husband, then it's goodbye. That's all for this video. Was it good? I know not, for I'm a robot. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. This video is the product of an automated process.